The sun is sinking into the Indian Ocean, turning the water into a sheet of liquid gold. Anton stands on the edge of the wooden deck, the air still and heavy with the scent of salt. He does not look at the view. Instead, he holds his credit card up, framing the sunset through the plastic edge. The light catches the numbers, turning the card into a sharp, dark silhouette against the glowing horizon. He lowers his hand, the serenity of the moment fracturing as he turns to face the camera. The silence of the island is broken by his voice. The Maldives is the ultimate escape, but every swipe here hides a secret cost. He holds the card steady, his eyes locked on the lens. Most travelers see the beauty of the islands, but he sees the transaction logs.
He waits for the impact of the question to settle.
How much will your credit card really charge you for this peace of mind? He shifts his weight, the waves crashing softly beneath the deck. The stage is set, but the cost is still hidden in the shadows of the fine print. He is not just here for the vacation. He is here to expose the math behind the luxury. Anton steps away from the railing and walks toward a small digital display mounted near the door of the villa. The screen flickers to life, casting a clinical blue light over his face. He points to the bold, white numbers glowing on the glass. "Look at this," he says. $3,000 per night. It is a staggering amount, but it is exactly what this experience demands. He taps the screen twice, and the display updates to show a total for a 5-night stay. $15,000 total. That is the price tag you see on the website, the number you budget for when you book the flight. He pulls his hand away, his expression hardening as he looks back at the camera. The serenity of the ocean behind him feels distant now, overshadowed by the weight of the math. But that number is a lie. It is the beginning of the story, not the end. He gestures toward the bottom of the screen, where a block of dense, illegible text occupies the footer. The real trap is not in the price itself, but in the fine print that follows. You think you are paying for luxury, but you are also paying for the way you pay. The hidden cost is already waiting for you, buried in the terms you never read. Anton taps the digital display again, and 2 icons bloom on the screen like ink in water. A 3% foreign transaction fee, a 2% currency conversion fee. He stares at the icons, his thumb tracing the edges of the glowing symbols. It sounds small, right? 5% total. He shakes his head, his voice dropping to a low, deliberate tone. But 5% of $15,000 is $750. He pauses, letting the number hang in the air. That is $750 gone. Not into the resort, not into a better room, not into a dinner on the beach. It is simply evaporated, drained by the sheer act of moving money across borders. He points to the total, now flashing in red. That is your money, lost to a system that counts on you not doing the math. The realization shifts the air in the room. This is not just a travel expense. It is a tax on convenience. He turns slightly, his eyes cold as he calculates the waste. $750 is a flight. It is a week of excursions. It is the difference between a trip and an experience. He looks at the camera, his posture rigid. You are paying for the privilege of being a tourist, and the bank is happy to take the cut. Anton leaves the villa and walks into the frantic pulse of a major international terminal. The camera follows him as he weaves through the crowd, past rows of check-in counters and flickering flight boards. He stops at a self-service kiosk, his movements precise and purposeful. He pulls a card from his wallet, holds it steady, and taps it against the reader. A sharp beep echoes through the terminal. This sound, Anton says, gesturing to the machine, is the start of an invisible chain reaction. He walks forward, not stopping, his eyes scanning the flow of travelers around him. Every time you swipe, a message travels from this terminal to your bank, then to the payment network, and back again in milliseconds. He makes a quick, cutting motion with his hand to visualize the invisible data stream. It is a complex dance of authorization and currency conversion happening behind the scenes. Most people think they are just paying for a coffee or a taxi, but you are actually triggering a global relay race. He pauses to let a group of travelers pass, his focus remaining entirely on the terminal mechanics. Your money does not just move. It gets sliced by every hand it touches during this transit. The faster you move, the less you notice the friction. But the friction is there, and it is costing you every single time you tap. Anton stops walking. The crowd moves around him, but he remains anchored, staring at the terminal screen.
It is not just the big purchases, he says, his voice dropping to a sharp, steady rhythm. The real trap is in the small,
seemingly harmless moments. He mimes tapping a card against a reader, once, twice, 3 times. A coffee here, a spa treatment there, a dinner for 2 at the end of the day. You think you are just paying the price on the bill. He pulls out his phone, scrolling through a list of transactions, his thumb moving with calculated speed.
But every single one of these swipes carries that same hidden weight. You are bleeding out in nickels and dimes.
And you do not even feel the cut. He gestures to the terminal, where a receipt prints with a mechanical whir. That extra percentage on every transaction is like a slow leak in a boat.
You ignore the first few drops, thinking it is manageable, but the water is already rising. He looks directly into the lens,
his expression intensifying. By the end of your trip, you have paid a premium for the luxury of being absent-minded.
This is not about the cost of the vacation. It is about the cost of your ignorance. Your money is draining away.
One swipe at a time, and the system is designed to keep you from noticing until it is too late. Anton shifts his posture, his hands moving to his wallet with deliberate intent. The urgency of the previous realization gives way to a sense of tactical precision. He pulls out 2 cards and holds them side by side, palms open.
Most people carry only one tool for their entire financial life, he says, tilting the cards so they catch the airport light.
They use a standard card for everything, from the grocery store at home to a luxury resort on a remote island.
That is the mistake. He taps the card on the left, then the one on the right. The standard card is a blunt instrument.
It treats every transaction as if you were standing in your own hometown, triggering fees that you never agreed to pay.
He sets the standard card aside and holds the second one firmly between his fingers. This is the savvy traveler's edge.
A travel-specific card is designed to ignore those borders. It operates with 0 foreign transaction fees, effectively stripping away the hidden costs that drain your funds. He rotates the card, showing its clean surface.
When you make the right choice, you are not just spending money, you are protecting it. This one change stops the leak instantly.
It is not about having more money, but about stopping the system from taking what is already yours.
The difference between these 2 cards is the difference between being a victim of the network and being the master of your own transaction.
Anton steps toward a plain whiteboard, his movements crisp and calculated. He uncaps a marker, the sound of the tip hitting the surface sharp in the quiet room. He writes in bold, block letters, "Local currency equals lower fees." He taps the board 3 times for emphasis. "This is the golden rule of international travel," he says, turning to face the lens. Every time you present your card at a terminal, you are at a crossroads. The system will prompt you, asking if you want to pay in your home currency or the local currency. He draws a thick, red line through the word home and circles local. He explains the logic with clinical precision. Choosing your home currency allows the merchant's bank to set the exchange rate, and they always inflate it to maximize their profit. It is a hidden tax on your ignorance. He underlines the equation again. When you choose the local currency, you force the transaction through the network at the standard exchange rate, bypassing the merchant's predatory markup entirely. He caps the marker and sets it down. It is simple math, but it is the difference between losing a percentage on every single purchase and keeping your money exactly where it belongs. Do not let the terminal think for you. Take control, select the local option, and refuse to pay for the convenience of being misled.
Anton moves closer to the lens, his voice dropping into a lower, more conspiratorial register. Now,
You need to understand the trap that catches even the most seasoned travelers. It is called Dynamic Currency Conversion, or DCC. The terminal looks helpful, but it is actually a predator. He gestures as if holding a card reader.
His eyes locked on the viewer. You swipe, and the screen glows with a friendly prompt. Pay in USD or pay in local currency. It seems like a convenience, an easy way to see exactly what you are spending in your familiar home money.
Do not fall for it. He leans in, emphasizing the betrayal. That convenience is a calculated lie. By choosing your home currency, you are handing the merchant's bank the power to set the exchange rate. They add a massive margin, hidden in plain sight, and you lose money the moment you confirm the charge. He shakes his head, his tone sharp and urgent. They rely on your desire to avoid the mental math of the conversion. They sell you the illusion of clarity while they drain your account. Every time you see that screen, realize the system is testing your financial discipline. It is a trap built on the assumption that you are too lazy to do the math. Prove them wrong. Choose local every single time.
Anton settles into a chair on the wooden deck, the roar of the ocean waves providing a steady, rhythmic backdrop to the quiet. He pulls his phone from his pocket, the screen bright against the dimming light of the evening. He swipes through his banking application, his thumb moving with intent. Each line item appears on the display, clean and devoid of the hidden surcharges that plagued his earlier transactions. He pauses on a recent entry, tapping the screen to reveal the raw conversion data. It is precise. It is transparent. It is exactly what it should be. The parasitic fees that once drained his travel budget have vanished. He leans back, letting his gaze drift toward the horizon where the last of the sun bleeds into the tide. The tension in his shoulders vanishes. He has successfully navigated the architecture of global finance, transforming a complex, predatory system into a manageable, predictable flow of capital. The room costs thousands, but that price is now justified by the absence of the hidden tax. He turns the phone toward the camera, showing the clear, verifiable record of his fiscal discipline. The bleeding has stopped. He is no longer a victim of the terminal, but the architect of his own expenses. Anton rests his phone on the table, the screen dark, his attention fully on the camera. The ocean air is still, and the urgency of the earlier financial struggle has given way to a calm, focused confidence. He leans toward the lens, his expression steady and direct. Luxury is not just about the destination or the price tag. It is about the complete absence of anxiety. When you understand the hidden architecture of your own money, you stop being a passenger in your own life. He stands up, walking toward the frame, his movements deliberate. The room costs thousands, but the real value is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you have outsmarted the system. You are no longer paying for the privilege of being exploited. He pauses, a faint smile appearing. Understand how your money moves, and you win the game. It is a choice you make before you even pack your bags. He gestures toward the camera, a final, inviting motion. Take control of your accounts today. Subscribe for more, and let us master your finances together. The next trip you take will be on your terms, not theirs.